informative speech for Communication 101. It would truly be a great thing if we knew what information to accept and what to discard, especially in a world full of schemes, advertisers claiming that their product is the best, and even our day-to-day conversations containing bits of lies here and there. Everyone lies, whether they want to admit it or not. In the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, Ronald Riggio says, there seems to be a general inclination toward trusting the information others provide. It would be socially awkward to challenge the veracity of another's communication. We tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. Although it may be a good thing that we don't question every bit of information we are fed, knowing the difference between a truth and a lie can be very important, whether it's giving someone the impression that we aren't lying, knowing what to accept and what to pass off as lies in order for us to make smart decisions, even if it's just little things in our everyday life. Today we will briefly go over some things that are normal to do when you are telling the truth and some key points to detecting deception. Humans are very interesting in their nonverbal communication, and that it is often unintentional. That is to say, we express it without thinking about it. It's an instinct unless you make a point to hide it. In his book, Self-Deception, an Adaptive Mechanism, Paul Ekman concludes that body actions involving skeletal muscle, the autonomic nervous system, produces some noticeable changes in the body with emotional arousal. These changes occur involuntarily when emotion is aroused, are very hard to inhibit, and for that reason can be very reliable clues of deceit. In times when you are being questioned, telling a story, or giving a speech, or just having a normal conversation, it is important to remember that many movements are normal, and there are actually signs that you are telling the truth. For example, in short article 5 Nonverbal Signs of Deception, Don Lomer talks about illustrators such as hand movements, and says, they are normal and often are used to illustrate a point during times of low stress. A person uses illustrators at one rate, but when the stress level increases, the subject's use of illustrators may increase or decrease. A change, therefore, may be taken as a possible clue to deception. Hand movements in themselves are not a bad thing, but if you start to use too many or too little, it can start to raise eyebrows. So remember to stay calm and always tell the truth. Another key feature is eye contact. Most people would think that if you break eye contact, you might be lying. But in a show called Lie to Me, which is based on the studies of Paul Ekman, and follows the fictional story of a lie-detecting investigator, states that breaking eye contact and looking into the corner of your eye can actually be a sign that you are trying to recollect an actual event that occurred, and leads to believe that you are telling the truth. On the contrary, when you lie, you might try to not break eye contact in order to see if your lie has been bought. Here we can start to see that myths can be misleading themselves, and it is important to be able to recognize the deception. Detecting deception can be a helpful tool in many situations. There are obviously thousands of expressions and gestures, and it would take years to learn them all, but just a few can be already a great step to being able to recognize deception. One thing to also remember is lying takes a lot more effort than telling the truth. As stated earlier, when a subject tells you facts or tries to recall an event, and they talk to you very rigidly while trying to not break eye contact, you can begin to see the effort that they are putting into what they say. And you can see how they are looking to see your reaction to the information they just told you. Another common gesture of deception is creating a barrier between yourself and the subject that you are lying to. In the second episode of season 2 in the show Lie to Me, the subject immediately takes a step back and crosses their hands to create space between himself and the investigator as to distance himself. It's interesting to look at these small things that we do, taking the time to notice them because we all know them. We all do them. A few more signs of lies or the truth being messed with is touching your face, fidgeting with your fingers, scratching your forehead or the top of your head. They all show different emotions and are signs that you are trying to distract from what you are saying. You are creating space to think or time to lie. All of these small things are tiny indicators of your true emotions, no matter what really comes out of your mouth. As we have seen in this discussion, paying attention to nonverbal communication patterns can say a lot about what you actually say and the information we feed others. I think it's safe to say that paying attention to these small details can help us when we are in doubt of the accuracy of what's being told to us. I'd like to thank each and every one of you deeply for being here. I hope you all enjoyed this small speech and hopefully you learned something that you didn't know before. But more importantly, that you will be able to start to think about other ways that you can show your true emotions. Thank you.